Did you hear us now? Yes.
Oh, man.
Well, really? Hey, Rich. So we weren't out that whole time?
No.
Oh,
Oh,
man.
man.
Oh, but you know what? We owe Rich Farda a
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Rich. Appreciate it. Oh, man.
Oh boy, we just said a mouthful too.
That was. Oh. To recap the rant, I mean that was straight from the heart. Everybody knows I'm a Kings fan, right? So a lot of Kings got traded at the deadline. There are some Kings fans on Twitter that are still upset about it. Like, for instance, last night on the Vegas Golden Knights Twitter feed of all things,
Yep.
they're on there going, "Well, geez, I don't know who to root for. Alex playing for Vegas now, but they're playing against the Kings. Oh, I miss Marty so much." It's like, stop it. Just stop it. They're gone. They're playing for the enemy now, division rival on top of it.
Yes.
I get it maybe if you're a little, soft-hearted, if they're playing a team you only see twice a year. It doesn't really matter. But this is a hated division rival.
Yes.
Do not go against your own team just because a former player plays for them now. It's asinine.
Oh my Lord. Hey, so Bob
You're
Litt joining us, man. Hey, I see Bob joining. Bob is a Flyers fan, so you know what? That makes total sense that he's joining now, man.
Hey, you know what? They're on a roll. Standings.
What a disaster that was. I see this. I'm getting nauseous just talking about it. Let's talk about something else.
We'll come back to that.
Yeah. You want to talk about Stamkos?
Actually, let's just real quick the trade deadline.
Okay. Yep.
I mean, I know that was a week ago and it's old news, but just to kind of recap, I mean, I don't like that whole idea of winners and losers because when you get draft picks involved and prospects involved, it's kind of hard to determine a winner or a loser.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, because
how would you?
Yeah. Exactly. But just to kind of recap real quick, there's some teams that I really didn't like what they did at all.
Okay.
Florida Panthers being on top of the list. Now, here's a team that I was really thinking that they were going to make some noise, get into the playoffs and all that. They didn't do anything to help themselves.
No, they didn't.
And they needed help desperately on defense, and they didn't do a damn thing. I don't understand it. I don't even have a problem with them trading Vincent Trocheck. Whatever. They got enough offense. There's enough offense on that team that they can handle getting rid of him.
Right.
But to not get any defensemen back, I mean, okay, they got Eric Halla and Linus Wallmark and a couple of prospects. Okay, those two are good depth players, but they're both forwards. You need help on D. What are you doing?
Nothing.
Exactly.
I can tell you nothing.
Exactly. We're not going to go on too much about this. That whole last show was dedicated to the trade line, but there were a couple of trades that came in afterwards. After we went off the air. Vegas Golden Knights, I can't stand them, but they did good getting Robin Leonard. And I really thought Chicago could get more for him. And I really thought, if anybody, they were going to trade Crawford. I don't know what Chicago's thinking.
I don't either. Actually,
here's a guy who wants to commit to be a starting goaltender. Just pay the man, give him his contract. Chicago really doesn't have any can't-miss goaltending prospects coming up through the system. Why would you not take a chance with Robin Leonard?
You're right.
So all you did now,
irritate him by trading him. He came right on side. I wanted to stay here.
Yeah.
But, nope, they didn't.
See ya.
So now they got Malcolm Subban back. Good luck, Hawks fans. Good luck.
Hey, you know what? It's a Subban.
Yeah. Well.
not the one they wanted.
But no, the Islanders could have really, I hate to pick on the Islanders, but I'm telling you that I think they're going to end up regretting that Pajot trade.
Yeah. You were saying on the last, you don't really think that.
No, they needed a winger. They needed a scoring winger. Okay, the Islanders don't need any more depth at center. Yes, I know they like to roll four lines, but what the big problem for the Islanders has been from time to time putting the puck in the net.
Sure.
Pajot's having a career year, and it was mostly the first half of his season.
And now he's cooled right off.
He's gone back to being what he is, which is a very solid third line, maybe a second line center in a pinch.
Mm-hmm.
But and for what they gave up to get him, they would have been much better off going after like a Tyler Toffoli type or something like that. The other team that really surprised me that didn't do a dang thing really, as far as I'm concerned, was Colorado. They could have done so much more than get Vlad Nemtsov. They had the cap space. They got a loaded prospect system. They could have really loaded up for the playoff run, and they didn't.
And the sad thing about that is,
and they need goaltending help.
They do need goaltending, but they're still winning. They're still winning.
Yeah, but they're in a tough division though too.
They are.
And when you need goaltending help, I mean, there was goalies available out there. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing with Carolina too. Everybody went bonkers over what Carolina did. Oh, look, we got Sammy Vatanen. Oh, they're so smart. They gave up a first-round pick for Brady Shea. Okay?
Not a fan, huh?
But you know what? It's not that. Listen, Brady Shea is a good defenseman. Mm-hmm. He's not worthy of a first-round pick, though. Okay? He maybe slots in on your second pair. You don't give up a first-round pick for that. You don't.
No, you're right.
And especially when your two goalies are AHL goalies right now because they're both hurt. Okay? Here's the thing with the NHL that people forget. After the trade deadline, you can have an unlimited roster size as long as you can fit it in under the cap.
Sure.
Before the trade deadline, you can max out at 23 players. After the trade deadline, if you got the cap space, you could have 40 players on your roster. It doesn't matter. So if you're Carolina, why would you not trade for another goalie? Why wouldn't you?
Good question.
But no, they went and they loaded up with Vatanen, who's still hurt. They gave up a second rounder for him and a third rounder too, I think. He's still hurt. So when he comes back, he's only going to have a very limited window to get used to the new system, to get used to his new teammates and all that.
Yeah.
So, and I understand that they were getting a little thin on defense too, but they needed help in the goaltending department.
I agree.
And same thing with Colorado.
I got to say hi to Travis. He's out there. He says, "Sup, fools." Sup, fool.
Was he Mr. T today? I pity the fool.
I pity him. So yeah, it's, kind of like what you were saying too. It's a little bit early on some of the other teams with those things. We can look back on it probably like 2 or 3 years and go, yeah, look who they got out of that. But
sure,
I did want to talk about some of the injuries going around.
Absolutely,
there's a few of them.
It's amazing they haven't after the trade deadline.
Very convenient, right? Who do we talk about first, Kreider, or do you want to talk about?
Let's talk about Stamkos real quick.
Okay. Yep.
All right. Stamkos is going to miss 6 to 8 weeks with a core muscle injury, which Penguins fans should know all about because it's the same thing that Crosby had.
Yeah.
So I think he's basically having the same surgery.
And I know they said originally like 6 to 8 weeks, and I know that Crosby was out just a little bit longer.
Yeah. So it depends on how good the recovery is.
Yeah.
But you know what? There's Tampa Bay and another team that overpaid at the trade deadline.
Of course.
They how many first round picks did they give up? 2 first round picks between Blake Coleman, and I know they had the extra one in pocket from the JT Miller trade. Mm-hmm. But then they turned around Jose a first round pick for Barclay Goodrow. I know he's a great penalty killer, but my God, a first round pick. But yeah, Stamkos being out is really going to hurt that team. And I'm sorry, I saw you laughing earlier.
No, Mazzotti chiming in saying, "How about the Falling Penguins? We'll talk about that.
We're getting there. Or don't you worry, we're getting to that part. Oh yeah.
Is there a way to delete? Can we delete something? I don't want to read that anymore."
So another team that got hit with an injury unexpectedly was the Vegas Golden Knights.
Yes,
they lost Moans with the dreaded lower body injuries week to week.
I wish we had Jamie on here today. Because,
I know, right?
Because the lower body injury, as we've said, is so
vague.
So vague.
Yeah.
Great word for it.
Could be anything.
You don't know the timetable for return. You don't know what the injury is.
Exactly.
So,
and I love how the NHL is just full of Bill Belichick's. Play it really close to the chest. I'm not going to tell you anything,
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So we really have we really have no idea on that. Travis says, "No, let's not talk about Kreider."
Oh, that's the next one.
Yeah. Sorry, man. We were talking about the convenient injury. And I would say it's quite inconvenient.
Yeah.
Kreider. What was it, like 2 days after the...
It was their first game after the trade deadline.
Yeah.
So he was blocking a shot. Broke his foot. It's one of those freak things you just can't plan for.
Right.
No
timetable for return.
No.
Right?
No timetable. So they got hit with that, and they got hit with the Shesterkin injury.
Yes.
However, I was reading some reports today that they've got Shesterkin back on the ice already. He's supposed to be out 2 weeks. They got him out working. They were saying blocking low shots. They're not taking anything, up to his chest region or anything like that yet. But what that screams to me is we've got to figure out how to stay in this playoff race since they've kind of hit the skids a little bit now too.
Yeah.
And here's where the Ranger fans are going to go bonkers, right? I know Georgiev was doing all right filling in for him. But the problem with Georgiev is he is wildly inconsistent. Wildly. He'll go for a week and a half looking like he could be any all-star team out there.
And then
for 2 weeks, he can get lit up by a high school hockey team. So if you're going to make a serious playoff push, you can't have that. And now you got Lundqvist, who obviously is a little bit rusty if you watched that Philly game yesterday.
They started him yesterday. Yeah.
I mean, that's the first time he'd played in a month.
Mm-hmm.
So now you got a real conundrum where Shesterkin was your legit, consistent goaltender.
Right.
So if they plan on staying in this race, he's going to have to come back strong for him. Because you forget about Kreider now. He's gone.
Yeah.
You can forget that.
I'm not like I'm a doctor, not like I know timetables and stuff, but I would say same thing with him. If it's a broken foot.
A broken foot, I'd got to figure at least 6 to 8 weeks.
Right.
At least. And it depends on how bad the break was.
Which, if that's the case, that probably puts him at least.
Well, you're talking through the end of the season.
Yeah. Maybe into the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Kind of like what they were saying about with
Stamkos.
Yeah.
Right.
And, Mazat said that's not true. What's not true? That's not true, he said. It's
probably about Georgiev.
It's hard on here because we'll say something and there's a little delay.
The lag.
So when we get that, all of a sudden like the comment will pop up a couple minutes later and we're like, whoa, we're way past that now. What are we talking about? So Mazat said that's not true, and then Travis said that's true about, I think he meant Georgiev.
Yeah, maybe because I was saying his name wrong. You guys knew who I was talking about.
Georgiev,
that's it. His name is Georgiev.
Yeah, I don't know what you do with that because you're right with Lundqvist.
If you see
on there,
he came right out and said in the press too, I'm going to sit down with the Rangers management after the season's over with and see what we can do to work this situation out, which means I want out. And that's a tough situation. I get it. He's got his pride and all that, but the problem is when you have the contract that he does and you have those no move clause put in and all that, you have to accept the fact that at some point you may be sitting for a while.
Yeah. Oh, I smell a debate coming on here. Mazat just chimed in and he said Georgiev has been steadily consistent, and Kreider is a hairline fracture 2 to 4 weeks. I didn't hear that.
I didn't hear that either.
Mazat, where'd you hear that about the hairline fracture?
But with Georgiev, the reason they were up was because he went into this funk where he couldn't stop a beach ball, and Lundqvist was wildly inconsistent as well. That's why Shesterkin was brought up. That's why they hung on to 3 goalies.
I'm going to try to just keep an eye on this because I really do want to. I hadn't heard that about a hairline fracture. Right?
Yeah, but the thing is, too, okay, so if it's 2 to 4 weeks, that's great. But if you start falling out of the race, you don't have 2 to 4 weeks to stay in.
True.
I'm
trying to think. What are they, like 4 points
out of the 4?
Out of the wild card right
now?
Yeah,
that losing that home to Philly, that hurt.
Yeah.
That hurt. And it's like we've talked about before. When you've got teams that you're going to try to leapfrog, that's what makes it hard, too. Because if you're not right there on the cusp without anybody in front of you, now you got to start depending on other teams losing, too. And I'll tell you what, the Columbus Blue Jackets just won't go away.
No, but
they won't.
I think the last time we were talking about them, maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, something like that.
We were talking about, man, they look like they're on fire right now. And all of a sudden that just fell off the charts. But you're right, they're not going away. And
take last night for instance, right? They were down 3-1, and all of a sudden, boom.
Yeah.
That's a Tortorella team. They just won't give up. They refuse to. So the thing is, now let's say they go on a streak. And I don't want to spoil it. Because we'll get to that.
Yeah. Well, actually, it probably would be a good time to talk about some of these streaking teams. That's what we were going to try to do today, is talking about how did we say it last night? We were talking on the phone. We're like, and I think this is how the topic came up. I said, nobody seems to want to win.
Well, it doesn't seem like anybody wants the Metro right now, except for Philly.
Out of nowhere, Philly, like, remember us? And all of a sudden they're in second place. But, Washington kind of took a little dip. I know they won last night, right?
They did. They didn't win, I think it was 4-3.
Yeah.
They won.
But they haven't been winning quite like they were a few weeks ago either.
No. Well, the thing is, Holtby hasn't been the most solid goaltender in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And Samsonov kind of took a little dip himself. So when your goaltending's off, that kind of hurts. And let's face it, with Washington has always made their bread and butter off their bottom six being productive. Right? Their top six can match up with anybody. But what always got Washington over the edge was that bottom six. That bottom six has kind of disappeared for them. So that bottom six needs to get it going. And I'm not saying they need to be the leading goal scorers or anything like that. But they always
have to contribute.
But they always could get that needed goal or that needed point, wherever from their bottom six.
Right.
And it hasn't been happening. So I think Washington's still got enough time to straighten the ship out. I just think there's too much talent there to ignore it.
Yeah. Well, I think they're also far enough up.
And I think that finally, Ovi getting that 700th goal has got to be
everything.
Oh my God,
that was almost painful watching him play those games. And it
was painful watching the team play those games. That's what it was.
Yeah, everybody was waiting and waiting and waiting, and that was a real distraction.
Sure it was. How could it not be?
There was the sigh of relief.
Exactly. Finally, thank God,
we got this damn thing over with. But yeah, but they've kind of come back to earth a little bit. And I think
and you know what, though? These things are bound to happen over the course of a season. It's a long season.
It is.
You can't be dominant for 82 games. Tampa Bay came pretty close last year, but look what happened to them.
They got bounced. Yeah.
You almost want your team to face a little adversity.
I would say so. Absolutely. But I think Brooks reported it. I must have missed it.
Yeah, I was looking at Twitter just before we came on. I didn't see anything.
Okay.
But like I said, even 2 to 4 weeks in a tight playoff race is an eternity.
Yeah. It's it'll be interesting. The good thing about it, like we're talking about with a lot of these teams starting to come back down to earth, certainly my Penguins, and God, I hate talking about this, but yeah, it is true.
Well, how many games in a row did they win before that?
I think they had won 13 out of 14, if I remember.
Something like that,
so,
right?
Yeah, and then all of a sudden they're on 6 straight losses.
Yeah, it is 6.
To the worst of the worst.
I normally try to do all this out of my head, but there's so many streaks going on. I had to write some of these down because I'll get totally confused myself.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think we had mentioned this a few weeks back. As far as these streaks go, be careful judging the team overall on a streak, right? Because... And I kind of I think about the Buffalo Sabres, right? What was it last year? They went on that 10-game winning streak, and we're back. Then all of a sudden, reality sets in. There are going to be times when every bounce goes your way, every call goes your way.
Mm-hmm.
But then just as quickly, like that, it can turn around and go the opposite way. Ask the Penguins. Of course, this is what the Penguins do, isn't it? They go unbelievably crazy in February. March, they go to sleep. And then by April, they're awake again, ready for a playoff run.
Well, and I've said it.
But you don't want to do that in the Metro this year.
Well, I've said it before. I think they're one of those teams that, and maybe it shows because they were doing great when they had all the injuries. Somehow they were winning.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden everybody started getting healthy, and they're like, now we're dropping games.
The desperation's gone.
I think it is. I think everybody on that team must look around the locker room and go, whoa, we are missing quite I have to step up. I have to play tough. I have to really grit this. And when everybody's in there, they're like, all right, now I can phone it in a little bit.
Right.
And the urgency's not there. And next thing you know, everybody starts dropping games and, and now we're in a situation like we are right now. So, but it is a little weird. I got to be honest, and maybe this is talking as a fan, just like we say with the winning streak, there's also some losing streaks that they'll go on. I don't think this is permanent for the Penguins.
I don't think it's permanent.
Yeah.
But something you might want to be a little leery of is Tristan Jarry coming back to earth.
But absolutely he is.
You know what I mean? I mean, I'm not telling you that he's not a good goaltender, but I truly don't believe he was a Vezina caliber goalie.
Remember, he's never seen this much action.
Well, that's the whole thing. It's a good thing for you that you got Matt Murray to back him up.
That sounds very weird. Yeah,
but
right.
you
got Matt Murray as the backup. Like, oh God, you know what? If anything good can come out of that, I would say that Murray's problem has always been that he's been overworked. At least he seems to be.
Well,
I mean, look at what he did.
Well, he is brittle. Let's be honest. He's brittle.
He's a thin guy. He's a thin guy. He takes a lot of injuries.
Right.
But I always thought they were kind of laying on him a little too much, and I don't know.
Well, they got rid of Fleury, so they had to.
Yeah. But that was always the thing. Like, wow. You got to give this kid a little bit of a rest, and they couldn't afford to. And now he's had most of the season to kind of sit back.
But now, what's that going to do with his psyche?
I know goalies are.
It's weird because they say in the NHL you have to have two goaltenders to be able to do the platoon, so to speak. But on the other hand, too, you run the risk of taking your goalie out of his rhythm.
Yeah. Yep.
So there's that fine line you got to walk between overworking and taking them out of their rhythm. So I mean that's a very, very finite line. Mm-hmm. I mean it's not easy to make those decisions as a coach.
Mazat said it's bad timing for the Pens. This continues and they could miss the playoffs.
I don't think they're going to miss the playoffs.
I don't think they're going to. It came in. I don't think it's going to. I don't think they're going to miss the playoffs either. But I got to tell you, it is something to definitely keep an eye on. And
well, right now they're
close.
They're 5 points ahead of Carolina, who's sitting on the outside looking in. They're the first team out.
Yeah.
All right. So what that means, they both played 64 games. Now I don't know how many games they have left against each other, but if you were going to bet between the Penguins and the Carolina Hurricanes, with the Penguins having a 5-point advantage, I'm taking that Penguins bet every day.
I would too. I got to show this real quick. So we, I hope you can see this. Can you see that? Oh, where's my camera? There I am. We got an award. I think you can see that in there. Disruption Network gave us this at their 3-year party, and yeah, man, nice little thing here for. I'll read it. It says the D. Suddenly I can't read. the D thanks you for all you have done to create amazing content on the network. So that's awesome, man. Thank you. I appreciate that, Z. And
thank you. That's awesome.
And Todd out there too, definitely.
Absolutely.
There's a funny story with that. Can I tell the story? Yeah. The person who did the engraving apparently wrote all of the same. It was like wrestling fandom. So we got that the first time, and it said all pucked up. Thank you, wrestling fandom. We were like, huh? But yeah, it's all corrected, man. That's awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that. So good stuff.
So real quick too, with we're picking on the Penguins and all that. Mm-hmm. A team that dropped out, and we touched on it earlier, was Florida. They've lost 7 straight at home.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's not like really like it's home ice for them. They have 2,000 people showing up for games. And I'm not saying that, but I mean, can you imagine being on that team? You're going to your home building and you look around, all you see is empty seats.
I know. It's got to be
disheartening. At what point does the NHL not pull the plug on this? Enough's enough.
Where did we say last year that you?
I want to see them in Quebec City in the worst way. Quebec City has an NHL ready arena. They would get solid support there.
Absolutely would.
Now, at least the players would be playing to full arenas. I mean, I don't know how they would feel from going on, say January 28th of being, 82 in Miami, 5 degrees, Quebec City.
That would be a little hard to.
That might be a little hard, but at least you'd be getting some support.
Absolutely. There's got to be something completely disheartening about walking in and looking at your arena and being like, "Wow, this looks like a minor league."
Exactly. Exactly.
But that's Florida for you. I mean,
But you can't even say Florida
Tampa
though, because Tampa Bay gets support out the wazoo.
That's true.
Of course, it's real easy to support a team that's winning all the time too.
Yeah,
that's really not hard.
When you set a record for number of wins. Yeah, I guess that's
Well.
But the Panthers, I almost feel like they're one of those teams that kind of gets overlooked on everything they do.
Yeah.
Even when they go on like little win streaks and whatnot.
Miami's just a funny sports town. They're Dolphins and Heat.
Yeah.
The Miami Heat.
Yeah.
I mean, the Marlins are kind of an afterthought, even though they've won 2 World Series. I mean, granted, they're in the toilet now.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Panthers have always been like the forgotten one off in the boondocks.
Yeah, they're the stepchild that gets kind of
So I mean, that's
over.
I really truly wonder when is enough going to be enough, and they're putting the All-Star game there next year.
Is it there? I didn't even.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they were already talking about these teal concept all-star uniforms. I'm like, oh my God, really?
Here's a freebie for you. Those uniforms aren't going to save this.
No, not at
what
all.
You want to save it? Get it out of Miami. Ay.
But with that said, though, there is enough talent left on the Panthers right now, so they could maybe be a spoiler. I don't think they're going to climb back into it. I just don't. They didn't do enough to help their defense at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
But you know what? They could still be a spoiler, depending on how badly Bobrovsky's hurt now. He went out. He didn't start last night. He was supposed to, and apparently he tweaked something in the pregame warm-up.
Yeah,
so they're being real quiet about it. But, if he's not hurt too badly, even though he's just had an awful year.
Yeah.
Terrible. And, normally Bobrovsky goes to sleep for a month, and then he just comes back and he's like unbeatable.
He's a wall.
But he hasn't woke up yet, and it's a little bit too late for the Panthers this year, I think. But you never know. They could be the spoiler.
Let me, I just saw something up here. Chris Mazzotti says, abysmal for Florida. Spending that money on Bobbin for what? Third place in the Atlantic is up for grabs, and the Panthers look like they're trying not to get in. I would agree with that.
Me too.
Absolutely agree.
And I think this perfectly illustrates why you don't give a goaltender any more than a 5-year contract. No matter what they do, you don't give them any more than 5 years. Because that position, more than anything else, is the most fickle position in hockey.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
There's no doubt about it at all. And if you give any goaltender, I don't care who it is, any more than 5 years, best of luck to you.
Hey,
and especially when they're in that 30-year-old mark, like what the Panthers did with Bobrovsky, what the Canadians did with Carey Price, or take a look at the Rangers and the Kings, right? The Rangers with Lundqvist gave him a long-term contract just before he turned 30, and the same thing with the Kings with Jonathan Quick.
You're right.
So you do that, and you're taking on a long-term contract to take them into their mid-30s, into their late 30s. Good luck.
We got to take our break here.
Yes,
do you have trivia?
I do.
You do?
Of course
right,
I have
hold on
trivia.
here. I love it on here. It's labeled as Scott's segment, and you know what happens when I push it?
Oh,
this. Get some rock.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
All right, breakaway trivia. You guys know what the rules are. I'm not even going to go through it because we're in the interest of saving time because we want to talk to you some more. So today's breakaway trivia is this. What NHL team has the longest current Stanley Cup drought? What current NHL team has gone the longest without winning the Stanley Cup dreaded drought? The answer when we come back.
So you just bought your dream home, and now it's time to move. Let's face it, nobody likes to move. All the packing, unpacking, lifting, upstairs, downstairs, and broking everything, including your back. Let the professionals at EJA Moving Company take all the stress and pain out of your move. Competitively priced moving, relocation services, office moves, and complete packing and unpacking services. They work with everybody to make it simple and easy for you to move and relocate. Call EJA Moving Company at 315-335-0516. When it's time to relocate, have EJA Moving do all the work for you. Hit them up online, ejamoving.com.
Want to know what's going on at the D? Hit up DisruptionNetwork.net and check out our events calendar brought to you by the Events Co. Find out about upcoming guests, special events, concerts, show schedules, community activities, and more. Get connected at DisruptionNetwork.net.
All right, and we're back. Breakaway trivia. The question was really quick. First of all, Yeah, let me start that over again, guys. I'm a little tongue-tied here. It was too quick of a break. All right. What team has gone the longest without winning the Stanley Cup currently in the NHL?
I got two answers here.
All right.
Travis said the Panthers, and Mazat said Minnesota.
Minnesota? Nope to either one. Who do you got?
I don't. Let me think.
All right. The answer is the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Ooh.
They haven't won the Cup since 1967. It's going to make 53 years this year if they don't win the Cup.
Oof.
All you Ranger fans out there, you might want to be holding on to hope that Toronto's going to stink next year, too, because you can get past that 54 mark and take the record away from the Rangers for the longest years between winning the Cup.
So I'm going to tell you, Travis didn't like your answer. He said, you, sir, can eat a dick.
Jeez. Oh, now tell Travis not to bring any more food then. I'm kind of afraid to see what's going to... Wow.
I watched a movie last night called The Help. Did you ever hear of it?
No.
It's about 1950s, 1960s Alabama, I believe it was, right?
Okay.
Somewhere around there. And like the whole I guess when the I'm trying to. I don't want to spoil the movie by giving it. Yeah, there's one part in there.
I can assure you that I'm probably not going to watch it. So
for anybody who might be out there, though, watch the movie The Help, and about halfway through, you'll find out something about a pie. And I was like, oh my Lord.
Is it like American Pie?
Similar.
Oh.
Similar, except somebody's doing some eating. I'll just tell you, they bake a turd in a pie.
Oh.
Somebody eats it.
Travis, don't you dare get any ideas.
I see a little bit ago. I didn't even say it, but he was saying he's going to have to cook for us again.
I don't know now.
Yeah, he says I'm going to have to cook more to get one. Okay, so yeah, just don't bring no pies, apparently. Anyways, we were kind of talking about the East. I think maybe jump over and talk a little bit about the West. And I'm sure you were more than excited last night for two reasons. Obviously, because your Kings beat the Vegas Golden Knights, but also they stopped a little bit of a streak that they were
8-game winning streak.
Yeah. Which I'm sure you're more than happy about.
Oh, it really broke my heart to see that. Terrible, So what basically has been happening is the Vegas Golden Knights go on this 8-game winning streak, and everybody's like, "Oh, there's the team that everybody said it was going to be. This is this is it. They're going to take the Pacific Division hands down." Blah blah blah. So they made a very nice deal getting Robin Lehner at the trade deadline.
Right.
Very good deal. Very smart. And again, like I've said, I don't know what Chicago was thinking. I don't
they obviously dropped the ball on that.
I don't understand that because Lehner wants to be a starter. And he had come right out and said, "I like Chicago. I wouldn't mind signing long term here."
And they said,
"So
awesome.
they said,
See ya.
yeah, thanks for your time. Bye bye. We'd rather have Malcolm Subban.
You like it here? Great. We're gonna trade you.
Goodbye." But it was a great idea by Vegas because I'm gonna tell you something right now. They might want to find out who that sports psychologist was that Marc-Andre Fleury was seeing.
Oh yeah,
and get him back in town because Fleury has not been Marc-Andre Fleury this year.
Well, now let me debate you on that just a little bit. I don't usually debate you, but I will say one thing, man. I think 4 shutouts through the last 2 months. He had 1 in January. He's had 3 shutouts this month.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
when you go on a winning streak, that helps.
Of course,
that helps.
But he still has,
But you know what? He's not striking fear in the hearts of anybody like he used to.
Well, how old is he now?
He's 34.
Yeah,
35.
Yeah.
So there's also that whole thing that we've talked about previously before with him. Is he being overworked?
Oh, I'm sure.
Is he getting tired?
Yeah, of course.
I would
say absolutely.
I mean, it's about time Vegas made a move like this.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I mean they were gambling, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, with Subban.
Exactly. That was a huge gamble. And part of their demise was when they started having to play him more and more because Fleury missed some time too with his dad passing away.
Right.
But I don't think that he's still a great goaltender.
Yeah.
Okay. But he's not the guy that's going to carry you all the way through the season and through the playoffs anymore. The guy needs some help.
Yeah, absolutely does.
Great job to get Robin Lehner, no doubt.
Yeah, he's the perfect one because we always used to say the Vegas Golden Knights kind of go as Marc-Andre Fleury.
Exactly.
And if he's not winning, the Vegas Golden Knights aren't winning.
Right. So I mean, that's going to be a great 1-2 punch for them going down the stretch. Losing Mark Stone's going to hurt, though. He was a big part of that top 6.
Yeah.
And honestly, Vegas lives and dies off that top 6.
You're right.
When that top 6 is clicking, so is Vegas. But if they're not producing, they don't have anything else. They really don't. So, hopefully for them, he actually makes a recovery pretty quick and comes back.
Yeah.
But, like we've said, they're playing it close to the chest. We don't know exactly what's wrong with them, so one can only speculate.
The other good news for them is they're in the right division to do that.
Well, there's another division that seems like nobody wants to win it.
Right. You're absolutely right.
Here I thought Vancouver was going to run away with it for a little while, and now they've come crashing back there with Jacob Markstrom getting hurt.
That was a big one. And
that really surprises me just how – but you know what? He was having a Vezina-like year.
What, have they lost 3 in a row now?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, it's – and I still think Thatcher Demko is going to be a very good goalie in this league, but the pressure's on him now big time, And for the Canucks, Markstrom can't come back fast enough. He just can't.
I agree. And I was looking at those games that they got Demko playing, and I mean he's He's also one of them ones. He looks a little bit overworked right now.
He's just overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed is probably the better word.
He's overwhelmed.
Yeah,
I mean there's no doubt about that.
I think he was playing decent earlier on, and now you look at. I mean, he's letting in 5-6 goals a game. It's like, oh boy.
Well, I mean that game last night against Columbus was a knife to the heart. I mean that was awful.
Yeah,
to blow a lead like that late.
Oh, Mazat said, "Hold on, I got one for you." Mazat said, next week is spring break if you want me to come in and drop some knowledge on Scotty. Woo!
Bring it on.
Look at his face. And then he said, nobody wants the Pacific. And nobody does. Nobody wants it, man.
You know why? Because by then the Rangers should be well out of it. So I want to hear what the excuse is for that.
Oh, boy. Mazat, if you are free, absolutely come in. I would love to have you on. That'd be great, man. Canucks collapse last night wasn't Demko's fault.
Yeah, but you know what, though? You know what? Sometimes the goalie's got to make the save and steal the game for you. Sometimes they do. And especially when you're kind of in a tailspin, somebody's got to stabilize things.
Yeah, you're right.
And yes, I know Columbus is one of those teams, they just won't quit on you, and they will just keep coming at you. But sometimes you got to hold down the fort. You got to. And I'm not blaming Thatcher Demko. I'm not. But I mean, as a whole, the team had to play better for the whole 60 minutes. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah,
but and sometimes
I think they've kind of taken their foot off the gas a little bit too.
Yeah. I think there's a little bit of truth to that. But again, it goes right back to it's a long season. And you're going to have ebbs and flows. Mm-hmm. This is what happens, and this is why I've told you 1,000 times. I am not a firm believer. And all of a sudden, a team goes on a winning streak, and there we go. We're going to ride our way right. We're going to ride this right to the Stanley Cup because it never happens.
It never holds off.
It never does.
Yeah.
I mean, the closest thing that you can see to that was St. Louis last year, which is kind of funny too, because ever since St. Louis did that, now all of a sudden, every time a playoff contender goes on a winning streak, do you ever notice it comes out of the woodwork? Yep, just like the Blues last year.
Here we come.
We're not gonna
coming in. We're gonna.
Gloria was a 1-year shot. Okay, no. It's not going to happen.
I'm looking at that division too. Edmonton. Edmonton's been playing decent, but
I'll tell you though, I like them getting Athanasiou.
Yeah.
I like that. I think that was a real good move by them. I mean, they bring in Mike Green to get some help, some depth to help on defense, and he tears his ACL or MCL.
I'm trying to
first game.
I'm trying to think. Did we cover that last week, or was that after?
That might have been after.
I think it was. Green was before.
Right.
But,
yeah. Well, I mean, why would you not take a chance of getting Andreas Athanasiou?
Yeah, why not?
Right?
I mean,
the guy's got enough speed to be able to keep up with Connor McDavid, for one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he is a former 30-goal scorer, so I think they gave up, a third-round pick to get him? So you know what? You bring him in, you put him on a line with McDavid and see what happens.
And Detroit wasn't going to do anything with him.
No, it's not like
So
they're already eliminated. So I mean, what's the difference?
He's going to waste away down there. Might as well do the guy a favor,
right? And start giving Steve Yzerman some draft capital to start this rebuild.
So, but you looking at that division, Vegas, Edmonton, Calgary. Calgary sitting. I didn't even realize that the Calgary overtook Vancouver. They're 75 and 74.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing that look at it though. Vancouver has 2 games in hand. So, and that's the other thing about is as we get down closer to the end of the season, who's got games in hand? Who controls their own destiny?
Yeah, that's true.
Right? I mean, I'm quite surprised that Nashville stuck back into a wild card spot. There's another team that was given up for dead.
They were stick a fork in them. We're all done with Nashville, and Dallas obviously is up there too.
But if you're like I'm looking at it right now with the Pacific Division, right? You have 5 teams within 8 points of each other. And there's still some hockey left to be played. So any one of those teams really can drop out of it.
Yeah, that's true. Especially, I'm going to tell you what, man. I like Arizona. I've liked Arizona for 2 years now.
Well, they got Darcy Kemper back now.
Yeah. And I realize that's they got a little ground they got to gain up there. But
they're another team that got hit with an injury, Jacob Chychrun, who was quietly having a very good year for them. Back on defense. So that Pacific Division is still wide open. There's no denying it.
Oh yeah,
no denying it at all.
Absolutely is. I want to look at. Wild card. Hold on, man. I'm interneting right now.
You're interneting?
Yeah, I mean, you look at it. 74 and 72 are right now what Nashville and Vancouver are technically the wild cards. Winnipeg's knocking at the doors at 72. Arizona's 72. Minnesota 71. Yeah, I mean, it is. It's a mess over there. It really is.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's anybody's ball game still. It really is. So, and that's where, you know what? And that's where one of those streaks could really come into play.
Absolutely could.
Now, let's say one of those teams goes on say even a 5-game winning streak.
Mm-hmm.
And if the rest are all just kind of jumbling along at 500, and you do that in this time of year,
yeah,
now you just punched your ticket.
Yeah, you just shot right up through everybody.
So there's still streaks to be had, people.
Speaking of streaks, we probably should mention our other two here, which is St. Louis and Colorado. I think I mentioned them briefly earlier. Colorado is on a,
6-game
winning streak. And St. Louis, of course, on a 7. So, and that's a funny thing because I'm always saying nobody wants to win those divisions. Those are the only two. Dale's kind of there. But St. Louis, pretty consistent all year long.
Mm-hmm.
And I never had a real doubt that they're gonna win that division. There's no doubt about that. I say that and watch. I'm gonna put them in the all pucked up curse. Now they'll probably drop games. I guess I can't count out Colorado.
No, you can't either, and that's not with the kind of the firepower that Colorado's got. You really can't.
Yeah.
St. Louis is if a betting man would say, yeah, they're going to win the division anyways, and they're certainly one of the contenders to come out of the West. I would put St. Louis against any of the teams coming out of the Pacific. Not a doubt in my mind. And you know who actually kind of makes me think that they could really do some damage
Minnesota.
out of the Central?
No.
Dallas.
Oh, okay.
Listen, they play shutdown defense. They play a physical grinding game. What do you need to do in the playoffs? You need to play shutdown defense. You need to play a physical grinding game. Jamie Benn's starting to find his goal-scoring groove again. I think this is a team that could really make some noise. I really, truly believe that.
Mazat just chimed back and he said Minnesota is climbing fast.
Yeah, I don't. Listen, I think the Alex Stalock experiment is just about over, and Devin Dubnyk just isn't what he used to be.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that eventually, not this season, but I think going into next season, they're going to be a team on the rise. But they're going to have to start getting a little bit younger here at some point too.
Yeah.
They're just going to have to.
We only got a few minutes left on the show. I did want to ask you one weird question, and it's totally off topic, totally getting away from this. Did you see the something come out about the Swedish team, and they're going to start playing to empty arenas, closed?
The
arenas.
Swiss League.
Was it? Yeah.
I think it's because they're all worried about the coronavirus.
The coronavirus. What a crazy thing. So their games are just going to be televised? Is that?
I don't know how that's going to work. I think something about and I'm not very familiar with how Switzerland's run, so bear with me.
Yeah.
So apparently the government has to decide by the 13th what the procedure is going to be going forward to deal with coronavirus. They don't want large public gatherings, I guess, is the gist of it.
Right.
So like hockey games, concerts,
anything with more than 2,000 people or something like that.
How do you?
I don't know how the hell you. That's
isn't that kind of getting a little carried away?
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't you think?
It absolutely is.
I mean, come on.
But I was just thinking about going back to what we were saying about Miami before.
Yeah,
the Panthers, I should say.
Just send them over to Miami.
Yeah, no problem.
It'll work.
You don't
no worries.
worry about playing in front of more than 2,000 people.
They're going to rename the Swiss national team the Panthers. It'll work.
We found the cure for the coronavirus. Go play in Miami. That's horrible. Right now, somebody in Miami's going, that ain't funny.
Nah, they ain't watching. Trust me.
They're watching anybody. Oh my Lord! Yeah, listen, I want to throw that out there. Mazat was chiming in again. He said Minnesota will kick someone from the West Coast just to lose in the first round. It's probably very true. Yeah, I actually hope Mazat can come in if he wants to come in and take a seat. I would love them to do that. So we'll check that out next week.
Yeah,
but,
I think Minnesota's one of the byproducts, one of those streaks.
Yeah,
and there it is again, the streaks.
That's the funny thing.
And this is the time of year when the cream rises to the top.
You're right. There's something about this, man, and we talk about this every week. Teams getting hot, teams getting cooling off a little bit. Man, these standings really they can change almost overnight.
Yeah, they can.
We could be coming in next week going, wow, you know what? Tampa looks like a total turd and has dropped to, well, maybe not Tampa, but one of those teams.
No, I know what you mean.
Has dropped to 3 or 4. They're barely clinging on to the wild card spot.
Right.
I mean, there is still a lot of game to be played. So, yeah. On that note, I just looked at the time. I think we're gonna call it for today. Because I want to check on something on here, but anyways, so next week we're supposed to have Yoshi back.
Okay.
And if Mazat comes in, we'll have 3 people here.
We're not going to know what to do with ourselves.
I know, man. I know it. That's craziness. Absolute craziness. So we'll do that. We'll check it out, and hopefully we have a full studio next week. I've said it before. Yoshi's been working. He's on some crazy training program, whatever he's doing over there. But yeah, I've already checked. His schedule is that he's already guaranteed for next week. So
cool.
For anybody going, he ain't coming back. He's coming. So, anyways, we're gonna cap it on.
He's on a streak.
He's on a streak, man. He's on a streak. He's about to go off that streak, and then we get him back. So, anyways, that's it for us today, and we'll be back with you next Monday at 12 o'clock, hopefully with a full studio for you. We'll see how that goes. Anything else we want to add?
No, I just, like I said, I'm sure Caps fans are happy that Ovechkin finally got his 700.
He did.
And you know what? I do want to point something out before we go off the air.
Yep.
We touched on it last week about the whole Gretzky versus Ovechkin thing.
Oh, yeah.
Who was better, the goal scorers and all that. And again, not to take anything away from Ovi, but I just want to point a little something out that I did a little research on here.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Gretzky has the all-time goals record at 896. Mm-hmm. 195 of those goals were scored on the power play.
Really?
Right?
Okay.
Ovechkin's got 703 now after his 2 last night. Mm-hmm. 260 of those goals were scored on the power play.
Wow.
All right? And counting.
Yeah.
And climbing. So just a little food for thought for you.
Yeah.
Who was better at 5-on-5? Wasn't left alone to hammer the puck 12 times on the power play.
At his spot.
Yeah, exactly. So just some food for thought.
That for some reason people still
don't cover them.
I don't get it.
Yeah. So,
anyways, all right, that's it for us. We will be back with you next Monday. Until then,
and there goes the audio.
Until then.
All right.
Yeah. Until then, man, enjoy the games, and we'll check back with you soon. Take care.
Have a good one.
See ya.
So you just bought your dream home, and now it's time to move. Let's face it, nobody likes to move. All the packing, unpacking, lifting, upstairs, downstairs, and broken everything, including your back. Let the professionals at EJA Moving Company take all the stress and pain out of your move. Competitively priced moving, relocation services, office moves, and complete packing and unpacking services. They work with everybody to make it simple and easy for you to move and relocate. Call EJA Moving Company at 315-335-0516. When it's time to relocate, have EJA Moving do all the work for you. Hit them up online, ejamoving.com.
Want to know what's going on at the D? Hit up DisruptionNetwork.net and check out our events calendar brought to you by the Events Co. Find out about upcoming guests, special events, concerts, show schedules, community activities, and more. Get connected at DisruptionNetwork.net.